So we're inside of this alchemical cove, surrounded by a ring of fire, and I can see all of the participants laying down on the ground.
Hmm.
I'm feeling into this idea of entering the unknown.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'd actually like to open up the space today with a little meditation.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring through some sound with my voice, inviting everyone to take a breath, and just allowing the natural breath to arise in your body, just noticing each and every cell filling up with breath, visually breathing yourself. You can't hear it over the microphone, but I'm here with a chorus of crickets right outside my window, chirping really loudly. The circle is surrounded by dragons in this fully protected space, and the phoenix is flying above, creating geometries with her tail. I want to invite in a deep feeling of reconnection with the earth, the ancient wisdom of the earth. Take a moment to breathe into your stomach, into that creative sacral center. Asking to tap into the unknown, that which wants to be birthed in the creative womb of the earth through you as we are entering the full moon in Virgo this week. I can see that each of you has a companion dragon supporting you in your own creative process and already contemplating the ideas, bringing out the memories, the inner knowings, what wants to be explored, connecting the dots, weaving the threads of your unconscious mind. And if you are standing in front of a dragon, giving it a deep, honorable bow and introducing yourself and seeing what that dragon has to share with you. I see the image of a dragon bowing and placing his nose on your heart center. Just take a deep breath in and take a moment to thank your dragon friend for supporting you and rediscovering the information inside of yourself. And when you're ready, come back into your body, move on your fingers and toes, open your eyes, and come back into the space.
Hmm. What came up for me was, the idea that uh, caves for me have traditionally been places where I go into panic.
Mm.
And when I was explaining our idea about the retreat to my sister, she was just like, "What?" She was like, "I have been with you in a cave, and she's like, I will never go in a cave with you again because it was such a terrifying experience for you." And what's interesting is I am not afraid of this cave. And so I go willingly into the cave and the unknown. Um, and so that's a big difference.
It sure is. I mean, that really feels like the dragon heart energy right there, is being able to face your fears and step into the unknown. That's been a huge theme of my whole life, is facing fears and stepping into the unknown.
Well, sometimes stepping into the unknown is the fear,
Yeah, because it's like the ambiguity. You never know what's going to be there.
right?
But the best part is when you do that and it's actually not scary, which I think is usually the case. Because it's almost like when it comes to consciousness,
Hmm.
it's almost like I think as like as a human, as a collective, and the way that fear kind of, creates the conditions through which people avoid and, you know, have a distorted perspective on reality in a way because of it. And yet when we actually step into it, the experience of it is just complete clarity. And I think for myself, the biggest example of this for me was when I experienced Bufo, the toad, and
Yes.
I was so scared. And yet, when I actually started feeling and confronting some of those things that were scaring me, um, they weren't scary anymore. It was actually the experience of complete and unconditional love
Mm.
and being held within being vulnerable and feeling the fear. But it was just like this huge, humbling experience of just being completely open, completely vulnerable, not able to run away or do anything like that. Because I think that's what I would do before, maybe running away from fears or avoiding things.
Hmm.
And there I was just laying in the grass, looking at a facilitator and crying because I felt so completely held in my vulnerability.
Mm. Mm.
And I think the biggest fear in that whole experience, it was interesting because my journey went through kind of three layers on the first day. And so I experienced the toad, um, ingested it, and experienced a journey in person on a Saturday. And then the next day, I was at home, but I was still journeying because of, the 5-MeO DMT was still running through my veins. And so I
Mm.
was very much in the journey. But when I was actually physically journeying, I had three stages that I went through. And the third one was actually me surrounded by my star family. I call them star walkers. And they're like these big, luminous, tall beings, long hair, they're androgynous, and they have these big staffs with plasma on the top, balls of plasma, and they create universes with them. And I was surrounded by these beings, and I was scared because I knew that whatever was restructuring within me was allowing me to experience unity consciousness in a deeper way and dissolve out of a sense of one self.
Mm.
And the interesting thing was that I was in the psychedelic space when I was experiencing this, and I could see them, and they were taking each of them had that staff, and they put their plasma into my heart. And then at that point, I felt my whole body dissolve into love, just this sheer unconditional love. And
Wow.
then it was like after that, I opened my eyes and I was completely lucid. I completely exited the psychedelic space. It was so interesting. And it was like I sat up and I was like, okay, that was it. It was
I'm
just
done.
like it was like an on and an off switch, and it was like, whoa. But just the
Wow.
fear of actually going to that space and reuniting within myself with that love that is connected to everything all the time.
Mm,
And I
wow.
mean, people experience that love in so many different ways, and that's just the way it came through in my journey and my consciousness.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow.
but I feel like that's where the story always ends.
At self-love.
Yeah, yeah, really. I mean, it's like when you go through the arc of the hero's journey and all the trials and all of like the resistance and the challenges and the tension and the growth, and then at the end you come back home.
Hmm.
And that's where it is. It's in that
Yeah.
love and it's in the heart. And that's
Mm,
why I love like the dragons here are to here to guide us inward into
mm.
that space and to be fearless. And
Wow.
that's why I love dragons so much. I love them for many reasons. But that's a whole long conversation.
Right. In the meditation, I actually saw a golden dragon, and at the end of it I could feel like the heat all around my hands. So like not just in the but all around.
Wow. What do you make of that?
I make of it a opening, um um and an invitation.
Yeah. For yourself or
Well, for myself, for others, I think.
mm,
Hmm. It's a both and,
mm.
another both and. Yeah. But I love that idea of coming home um at the end of the journey. And that home, I mean, home is in your heart, but home is also back in the ordinary world,
Right,
so it's almost like there's two homes.
right. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I can relate it to like my own experience of like being in that psychedelic space, like kind of being in that fantasy world or in this dream world, and then all of a sudden coming back into lucidity, into the physical here,
Hmm.
and just having that knowing within myself that it was like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
But then I also think of really common example of coming back home into the real world is the Wizard of Oz with Dorothy.
Yes.
It's very literal, you know, but
Another hero's journey
yeah,
story.
I think that's a perfect example.
It is a perfect example.
I don't
Hmm.
really have to explain it. I think whoever's listening, you know the story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think you're also bringing up another really important point, which is that when you're at home in yourself, then you're also at home in the world,
right, right,
and you're at home with the unknown.
right. Just trusting, you
Yeah.
know, that whatever's going to unfold, however things are, that when you're at home in yourself, then it doesn't matter what's happening on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just like that solid feeling,
Or wholeness.
wholeness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's what we come back home to with like any self-care, introspective self-discovery, inner work is like coming back home, but then what does that look like? What does that feel like? And how to own your own unique experience within that. It's like feeling comfortable in your own skin. I'm thinking of like now that we're in the Aquarian age, all of
Mm,
these people are popping up everywhere who are their own, individuating in different ways. You notice
hmm
that? Like people, not just like influencers or whatever, but I noticed this just like in friends and family and people shifting into this attitude of it's okay to be me, it's okay to
mm,
express, it's okay to, own, like say in the work sphere, saying like I've been hearing this rhetoric of instead of having to like look for a job that fits your skill set, bringing your skill set or your experience and, going to somebody who's looking for you instead of
mm,
fitting into someone else's shoes,
hmm
kind of thing.
Yeah, the perspective shift.
Yeah. But it's like that individuation and it's like finding that home, that sense of self. And that
Hmm
could be a sense of style or a sense of creating or creative expression or, just owning what you love and doing that
hmm
instead of forcing yourself to do something that you don't like to do.
Yes. Yeah.
All the people in there, retiring or changing work or whatever
Right.
within those people.
Definitely. I think that that is, I mean, I think that is part of the coming transformation. It's happening. It's here, and it's going to affect, I think it's going to affect many, many, many people.
Yeah. It's exciting though.
It is. I mean,
I'm
that's what
excited about it for me. And I see it in you and it's like everyone we meet, it's cool.
it is cool. And it's going to become even more prevalent. I think we're just at the very beginning.
Yeah. But it's nice to support each other in it.
Yes. Well, I think that's actually paramount. I mean, the irony of individuation is that in certain ways you have to do it alone, but in other ways you need support. So it's almost like you need to do it alone and you need support doing it.
Right. To find the right tribe so that you can do it, feeling supported.
Hmm Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because if the environment doesn't support you in it, then it's not gonna it's not gonna be um, sustainable.
exactly.
Mm.
That was so yummy. I feel like I don't really have too much more to say on today's episode. I just want to steep in all of these themes that have been coming up.
Mhm.
Um, and today is our last day to sign up with the early bird discount for our workshop, writing workshop in September. Starts on a Tuesday on the 9th. It's going to be 4 Tuesdays for 2 hours. And Mary Jo and I will take you through your own writing journey inside of this Dragon Cove.
Mm.
And there are some scholarships available. So, if there is a financial restriction, don't hesitate to reach out to us and we can accommodate you because we would love to have you in the space. And yeah, it's going to be a small group.
Mhm. Intentionally. Yeah, and I just want to say to everyone who's been listening to our series, thank you so much. And we would love to have you if any of this resonates for you. It's, I think, and I think Melanie agrees, that it's going to be a really exciting journey. And, in it, you will be at the center of your own story and be able to really perceive it in new ways and in ways that are empowering for you. And we just are so excited that we would love to help you if that's something that is coming up for you right now in your life, in this great time of transformation and individuation and really claiming what you love and doing what you love. Um, yeah, we'd love to be with you on that journey.
Absolutely. It would be our honor. So thank you so much for tuning in to our weekly episodes, and we will talk to you soon. See you next week.